Good morning, everybody. This is April the 16th, and today is the day that the Lord has made. Welcome to Digital Devotionals, where we are providing Lenten guide, Lenten devotionals for the year 2025 in the African American context. We wanted to provide that because we didn't see it provided on the marketplace, and we're trying to fill that gap today. And so we invite you to today's devotional, Here We Grow Again, here at the Springfield Baptist Church. The fourth word from the cross comes from Matthew chapter 27, verses 46 through 47. Now from the sixth hour until the ninth hour, there was darkness over all the land. And about the ninth hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is, my God, why have you forsaken me? The word of God for the people of God. Praise be unto our God. The first three words from the cross was during the daylight hours, during the morning hours. The final four words from the cross happened from noon to 3 p.m., which is their sixth hour, the sixth hour from the beginning of sunrise, noonday, to the ninth hour, which is 3 p.m. our time. Jesus hung for 6 hours. Half that time was during daylight. And then the last 3 hours, in the middle of the day, darkness covered the land. So when Jesus' situation is most dire, there is darkness in the middle of the day. The fourth word is an expression of emotion and abandonment. It is theologically controversial. Just hours earlier, Jesus told God, not my will, thy will be done. And in this dire, dark moment, Jesus says, why have you forsaken me? We know that Jesus is fully God and fully man, and so we recognize theologically that God cannot abandon God. So what's going on here with Jesus in this emotional moment of abandonment? I think it's important for us to appreciate that Jesus is quoting a Psalm of David in Psalm 22, the first verse of Psalm 22, what Jesus must have learned during rabbinical school as a child. A hymn he must have learned by attending the worship services in the synagogue and traveling to the temple for the festivals in Jerusalem. In Psalm 22, it says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me and from the words of my groaning? Oh my God, I cry in the daytime, but you do not hear, and in the night season, and am not silent. Why have you forsaken me? Jesus is quoting a psalm that speaks to the problem that he's currently going through. But if Jesus had finished the psalm, perhaps we would have greater understanding of why he uttered these words from the cross. Because while verse 1 and 2 of Psalm 22 talk about the problem that Jesus is in, if you kept reading, because this is just the first two verses of a 31-verse psalm, if you kept on reading in verse number 20 of Psalm 22, it says, deliver me from the sword, my precious life from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth and from the horns of the wild oxen. And then it says, you have answered me. There's a problem, and then there's a petition in Psalm 22. And then Psalm 22 ends with praise. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn to the Lord, and all the families of the nations shall worship before you. For the kingdom is the Lord's, and he rules over the nations. If you knew the entire song that Jesus was singing from the cross, perhaps you would not conclude that he felt abandoned. Because if you know the whole song, God answered him, and God was to be praised. Today I invite you to finish the song that Jesus sang. I invite you to finish the prayer that Jesus prayed. I invite you to finish the work that Jesus started. I invite you to praise the praise that Jesus prayed. Have a great day. Be blessed. Remember, finish the song.